spring-loaded camming devices, also known as cams. A lot of times in literature, you're going to read SLD. That just stands for spring-loaded camming devices. There are two main differences in spring-loaded camming devices, which I'll show you two different cams. We've got one on the left is a double axle cam. You can see the two pins in the cam, meaning that it's double axle. The other one on the right is a single axle cam. There's only one axle point. The double axle cam has a benefit of having more usable range. That means I can place it from a much smaller crack to a decently sized crack, the usable space of the cam where it's safe to be placed. The single axle, I get much less usable space of the cam, meaning it's going to limit how many places this cam can actually fit. The benefit to the single axle is the head width itself is much narrower than the double axle, meaning in hourglass placements, this cam will fit where this one will not. Climbing on granite, a lot of times these will fit when these will not. The other big benefit to most single axle cams is we have this unique feature. When it is placed, the stem of the whole cam will rotate by itself. This is one of the main benefits to a single axle. That means as I'm going up, if the crack slightly goes to the right, the rope will actually allow the cam to move freely without engaging the lobes any different. Where the double axle, when it's placed, as I start to move to the right or the left, it's actually working those lobes, creating a cam that could want to walk, not always. Both cams, they're both very strong, they both work very well, but you have to choose which one will work best for the scenarios you're in. The other option you have when it comes to cams, we have two different double axle cams that I'm holding up. They're almost identical in color and in size. The difference is one on the right is an ultralight, the one on the left is not. The ultralight is a great piece for those going out to climb Patagonia or the big alpine routes. Extremely light. It cuts the weight significantly over a regular cam. But like I've already said, there's benefits and downfalls to everything. This cam has a much shorter lifespan, being that it's Dyneema instead of cable for a stem. Dyneema has a shelf life where it will be worn out and you will have to throw the cam away. This cannot be replaced. Also, it's not going to be your workhorse cam. A lot of the metal's been trimmed out. It won't last as long as your standard cam. Great piece for the backcountry though. We also have these really interesting cams. I pull it back, that would be a normal cam range right there. I can keep pulling, exposing a whole nother set of lobes with more range. Pull it again, I get the third lobe with more range. This cam is basically 3 cams in one. The downfall to this cam is it's extremely heavy. It's not light. Also, you need to know how to place it correctly. This cam can, the joints break if it wasn't placed correctly. This cam is definitely a great piece to add to your arsenal for climbing, but like I've already said, you need to know how to place this piece properly to use it. The other big differences with cams, we have a double stem cam. Before I was showing you single stem cams, and I talked about double axles. This time I'm talking about double stem or a U stem. The stem itself makes a U shape. This piece only has 3 lobes, this cam. The other cams we've shown you have 4 lobes. This one only has the 3 lobes. TCUs are great for putting in small pods. They're going to fit where not a lot of cams fit. The downfall with any U stem cam like this is if I fall, it can want to twist itself, which makes the wires pretty messed up and not something you're going to keep using. The next 2 cams I'm going to hold up are very interesting cams. This right here, this cam's lobes are extremely narrow, meaning that it'll fit in small places like piton scars or tiny little micro cracks. The lobes themselves are made out of the softest alloy that's used in any cam at this point, meaning that they're going to bite in on the slickest of rock. Also in shallow placements, it starts to flex much quicker than any of those other cams that I showed you, meaning that I can place this in very shallow cracks and fall, and it will allow the cam to stay in the position I placed it. This is a brilliant piece for shallow aid climbing or shallow free climbing placements. The downfall to all cams is something. This one, its downfall is the lobes are a little bit soft, so they wear out a little bit quicker than the other cams we've talked about. Then we have this interesting piece. This piece is very unique to the market. What this cam does is the cam angle is much different, so it'll fit differently than any other cam, but each lobe Instead of it having a single stem down the middle, each lobe has its own stem. This black cable connects to each lobe, meaning when I fall, it will generate force into each individual lobe as needed. This piece will hold in the shallowest of placements and really weird placements. It's also extremely flexible, like the last cam I showed you. In fact, I would say even more flexible. This piece is great for those shallow finger cracks, and it has an extremely high holding power. This is more of an advanced piece of gear though. The last thing that I would like to inform you about with cams, and something I see regularly, is people don't clean their cams. Cleaning your cams means that the triggers start to stick when you pull them back. When I release the trigger, it's going to eke itself open, meaning that if I'm pumped and I'm trying to get a piece in before I fall, it could slowly open and not actually work properly. It is important to clean your cams. The simplest way to clean your cam, take the cam, boil some water, dip just the head. You're not needing to clean all the way up here, just the head where the springs are. Dip it in boiling water, pull the trigger on the cam, like so. Get that dirt and grime to fall out, set it down, let it dry up for about 30 minutes. Then apply some cam lube. It is important to use actual cam lube, not WD-40 or anything else. This stuff is wax-based. It repels dirt instead of attracting dirt. Once you have placed the cam lube on the springs, let it dry up. You will notice that you'll get dirt and grime on the outside of the cam. Simply wipe it clean and that cam is good to go. Be safe out there climbing.